For decades, the name Errol Flynn evoked images of swashbuckling charm, golden age Hollywood glamour, and the kind of roguish charisma that made him a legend. He was Robin Hood, Captain Blood, and Don Juan, all wrapped in one dashing figure. But behind the curtain of adventure films and romantic escapades was a more complicated, and sometimes troubling, reality. Now, at 85, Flynn's widow, Patrice Wymore Flynn, has finally broken her silence, confirming a long-rumored truth that the public and even some in Hollywood refused to acknowledge for years. Errol Flynn died in 1959 at the age of just 50, worn down by years of hard living, scandal, and excess. During his lifetime, rumors swirled around his personal life, his relationships, his politics, and most controversially, his darker impulses. Some said he was a libertine. Others whispered about his supposed connections to espionage, and still others hinted at abuses of power behind closed doors. But through all the allegations, denials, and tabloid sensationalism, Flynn's legacy largely remained that of a tragic hero, flawed, but ultimately untouchable. Patrice Wymore, an actress in her own right and Flynn's third wife, had long maintained a respectful silence. Married to Flynn from 1950 until his death, she rarely spoke publicly about the more disturbing rumors, choosing instead to focus on her memories of the man she loved. For decades, she lived quietly on a Jamaican plantation they once shared, raising their daughter and staying largely out of the public eye. But now, with age softening the need for discretion and the historical lens demanding more nuance, has confirmed what many had suspected but few were willing to admit openly. Flynn was not just a charming rogue, he was deeply troubled, and at times, dangerous. In a recent interview conducted for an upcoming documentary about Flynn's life, Wymore stated, "Errol was a man who lived in extremes. He wasn't just a romantic lead, he was deeply conflicted, often angry, and sometimes reckless in ways that hurt people, including those closest to him." She went on to clarify that while Flynn was never a monster, he was also not the hero so many wanted him to be. "There were things I ignored, and things we all denied because we wanted the fantasy to be true," she said. But it wasn't always. Among the revelations was Wymore's acknowledgement of Flynn's volatile behavior during their marriage episodes, of drinking-fueled rage, infidelities, and emotional manipulation. Though she stopped short of detailing specific allegations, her tone and words suggested that the reality of living with Flynn was far more painful than previously known. He had charm, yes, but charm is a tool. It can be used to uplift or to destroy, she said quietly. These revelations do not come without controversy. Some fans have pushed back, unwilling to let go of the mythos surrounding Flynn. Others see Wymore's decision as long overdue, an important reckoning with the truth behind a man who both dazzled and disturbed. Film historians are already re-evaluating Flynn's legacy in light of these admissions. "This doesn't erase his contributions to cinema," one expert noted, "but it adds complexity, and that's a good thing. We shouldn't need our idols to be perfect." For Wymore, the decision to speak out wasn't about revenge or revisionism. It was, as she put it, about honesty. "Not just for Errol, but for myself. I lived through it. I loved him, I endured him, and I have the right to say what it really was." At 85, Errol Flynn's widow has done what many could not, pierced the veil of nostalgia to reveal the human being behind the icon. In doing so, she invites us to reconsider not just Flynn, but the way we tell stories about powerful, charismatic men, especially when those stories hide inconvenient truths.